Today, I will be going to explain the qualitative analysis of carbohydrate. This is a demonstration class in which I would be demonstrating the general reactions. In this, we would like to explain all the tests, how to perform their procedures, what would be their observation, and what are their principle in general. And then in the coming classes or in the coming videos, I would be explaining you about each carbohydrate in detail. So, starting with the objective. So, today the objective behind this practical is to study the properties of carbohydrate and to identify the unknown carbohydrate by carrying out a series of chemical reactions. Carbohydrates, we define it as a polyhydroxyaldehyde or ketones or a compound which yields the smaller products on hydrolysis. They are also called as saccharides. Carbohydrates are of great importance to human beings as they are the major part of our diet which provides around 60 to 70% of the total energy that is required by the body. We can classify this carbohydrate as monosaccharides, disaccharides and polysaccharides. Monosaccharide means having a single sugar unit molecule, having the example glucose, fructose, galactose, mannose. The disaccharides, when two sugar units are linked together by a glycosidic linkage, it forms a disaccharide. Example for it is maltose, sucrose and lactose. This disaccharides is further classified as reducing disaccharide and non-reducing disaccharides that we will discuss in the coming slide. Polysaccharides. Polysaccharide means many sugar molecules, they are linked together and it will form a large molecule. Polysaccharides further subclassified as homopolysaccharides and heteropolysaccharides. Homopolysaccharides, that means having the same kind of sugar unit, they are linked together. While the heteropolysaccharide, the word itself hetero means a different or more than one type of sugar, they are joined together will form a heteropolysaccharides. Now, what is the use of studying this test? So, we can study this test to detect the presence of a reducing sugar in a biological samples or any biological fluid like urine, right? In which, in like diabetic patients, the glucose would be present in the urine, so that can be detected by doing the Benedict's test. Similarly, there fructose, galactose can be detected in the urine. Here the structure is of glucose which is showing you this hydroxyl group. So many tests they are based or the reaction that is based on this hydroxyl group. So the reaction that is taking place due to the hydroxyl group are Molish test and Selivanov test. It based on the principle of dehydration. Another is reaction due to this carbonyl groups. So in this there are two things, reduction and condensation. So during reduction, Benedict's test, due to this Benedict's test and Barfoed test is there. Due to the condensation, same principle is followed by the Osazon formation. Now we will be discussing the test. First is the Molish test. This test is basically done for the carbohydrates. So first we will discuss the procedure. In this test we need to take 2 ml of carbohydrate solution, add 2 to 3 drops of alpha naphthol, mix it. And then we need to add equal volume. Please make sure the equal volume of concentrated sulfuric acid along the walls of test tube carefully. After doing the test, if a sample contains a carbohydrate, it will give you purple or violet color ring that is observed at the junction of two layers. In inference, we can write that if it is present, the carbohydrates are present in the solution. Principle. Here, the glucose or any carbohydrate that will dehydrate in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, which will form furfural derivatives. These furfural derivatives, they are invisible. It cannot be seen. So, further, it would be condensed with the coloring agent that is alpha naphthol. And that will give this violet color or purple color ring at the junction of two layers. For doing this test, equal volume of sulfuric acid is to be added, and while adding, this test tube should be little bit tilted and it should be added through the side walls. Now the furfurals, if it is a hexose, it will give you hydroxymethyl furfural. If a sugar is a pentose, then it will give you the furfural derivatives. This test would be given positive by all the carbohydrates. Next is the iodine test. This test is basically done for the polysaccharides. Procedure: take 2 ml of carbohydrate solution, add 2 to 3 drops of iodine solution, mix well. If there is a presence of polysaccharide in the solution, then it will give you blue color. Inference: this test detects the presence of polysaccharide. If a solution contains starch, then it will give you blue color. Otherwise, there would be no change in the color. You can see the same thing in this sample that I have done. This blue one that contains starch and the yellow one that is negative test. So, and the principle behind this is, here the iodine that forms a deep blue color complex with the polysaccharide by the adsorption process. Here the iodine that will just get adsorbed on the surface of the starch molecule. So this test would be given positive by the polysaccharides. Next test is the Benedict's test. This test is basically done for all reducing sugars. Procedure: 5 ml of Benedict's test, Benedict's qualitative reagent. Then we need to boil for 20 seconds, add 8 drops of carbohydrate solution and boil for 2 minutes. If a reducing sugar is present, it will give you brick red precipitates. Inference: this test detects the presence of reducing sugar. Principle: all reducing sugar under alkaline condition will form enediol. This enediol is a reducing agent. So it will reduce this cupric ions from the copper sulfate to cuprous ion. This cuprous ion forms cuprous hydroxide. Cuprous hydroxide, during the process of heating, it is converted to yellow to red color complex, or which will give you the different color precipitates. You can see here there are different color precipitates are formed that depends upon the concentration of the reducing sugar present in a sample. Here the blue color indicates there is absence of reducing sugar. Green color precipitates. Here we will not see the color, we will see the precipitates. It is present when the concentration is 0.5 to 1 gram percentage. While yellow color would be seen, yellow color precipitate 1 to 1.5 gram percentage and it is denoted by +2. Yellow color 1.5 to 2 gram percentage, it is denoted by +3. And brick red precipitate is seen when the concentration is more than 2 gram percentage, denoted by +4. This Benedict's test is called as semi-quantitative test because we get a rough idea, or we can roughly estimate the amount of the sugar that is present in the sample. Here we are not getting the exact value, but at least some rough concentration we can get. This Benedict's test would be positive for all the reducing sugars. So reducing sugar, which means when the anomeric carbon that is free, or the hemiacetal or hemiketal group, they are free to react. They are called as reducing sugar. So it would be given positive by glucose, fructose, maltose, lactose. But sucrose, as their free reducing group is not free, right? You can see it is a locked. This free reducing groups are locked together. That is why it is a non-reducing sugar, and it will give this Benedict's test negative. Next test is Barford test. This test is basically done for differentiation, or we can differentiate monosaccharide from the disaccharides. Procedure: take 2 ml of carbohydrate solution, add 2 ml of Barford's reagent and mix. Boil it for 2 minutes. If it is showing the presence of monosaccharide, it will give you red scrum precipitates or scanty red precipitate. It would be seen at the bottom of the test tube. For this, to examine this precipitate, we require 5 to 10 minutes. After cooling, we will get to see that precipitate at the bottom. In inference, it detects the presence of monosaccharide. By this, we can differentiate between the monosaccharide and disaccharide. Principle is very similar to that of Benedict's test, only the difference over here is the medium. Here, the medium required is acidic medium, which will reduce to the cupric ion to cuprous ion. Here you can see this red scrum precipitate. Initially you can just see very slight red color tint that is at the wall of the test tube. Slowly it will get settled down at the bottom of the test tube. So here you need to be very careful, because many times after boiling, if you don't get it, you will just note it down it is negative, but you need to wait for 5 to 10 minutes to answer this test. And on the second on this third and fourth test tube, it is showing that it is negative. If a sample is disaccharide, it will show the no change. If a sample is monosaccharide, then it will give you this red scrum precipitate at the bottom. Next test is Selivanov test. This test is basically done for ketose sugar. Procedure: take 2 ml of carbohydrate solution, add 2 ml of Selivanov reagent, mix, boil it strongly for 30 seconds. If it contains ketose sugar, the cherry red color is observed. Inference: it detects the presence of ketose sugar. This is basically done for fructose. Principle: it is very similar to that of Molish test. Fructose, in presence of concentrated HCl, will dehydrate and forms the furfural. Furfural is invisible, or it is colorless, so it will condense with a coloring agent, that is resorcinol, and will form the condensed product, and which is cherry red in color. Here again, you need to wait for a few seconds to develop this color. Initially, it would be a very light, so you may get misguided between negative and positive. So you need to wait for 5 to 10, at minimum 5 minutes to develop this color. So this test would be positive for fructose, and for sucrose after inversion test. That we will study over here, the inversion test. This test is done for non-reducing sugar. Right here we are hydrolyzing the sucrose, or we are hydrolyzing the sample into a smaller products. Procedure: take 2 ml of sucrose solution, add 5 drops of concentrated HCl, boil for 2 minutes. Cool. Then neutralize neutralize with the 6 drops of 40% NaOH. Check using this litmus paper. After this, from this solution, we have to perform the Benedict's test. With this neutralized solution, we will call it as a neutralized solution as we are neutralizing. So we need to perform the Benedict's test after neutralizing the solution. So the procedure would be same that of the Benedict's test. Only instead of carbohydrate solution, we will take this Benedict neutralized solution. If it is a sucrose, then we will get this very light red precipitates. And in this slide, we have done initially the Benedict's test, which was negative, and second picture shows the Benedict's test after doing this inversion test. So this is what the difference would be there. So inference, sucrose that is getting hydrolyzed into glucose and fructose. On reducing this, it will give this Benedict's test positive. Even we do the Selivanov test for the fructose. So with this neutralized sample, and we will get the cherry red color. So this test is basically done for sucrose. Next is hydrolysis test. This test is done for polysaccharide, in which we will do it in 2 steps. First step, we will perform the Benedict's test with the original solution, which would be negative. Then in second step, we will take the 5 ml of original solution, starch solution, add 2 drops of concentrated HCl, boil for 2 minutes, and then we will allow to cool. Then we need to neutralize. So we will add alkaline with 5 drops of 40% NaOH, and from this solution we will perform the Benedict's test. So here what we get over here is it is positive, but here the concentration is very less. So it would be weakly positive, but yeah. And the inference, we can say that the starch is present. Here the weak Benedict's test is or negative test with the original solution, and after hydrolyzing it will give you free reducing groups at the end of the starch molecule, which will give this Benedict's test positive. Last is Osazon formation. This test is done for all reducing sugars, but this is a confirmatory test for disaccharide, reducing disaccharide. We need to differentiate between 2 reducing disaccharides. So for that, Osazon test is done. Procedure: take 2 ml of phenyl hydrazine solution, add carbohydrate solution, mix, keep it for the boiling water bath for 20 minutes. At the end, remove the test tube, allow to cool, and it will give you yellow color crystals after it cools down. So that crystals has to be mounted on a slide to see under the microscope. Inference: the reducing sugars react with the phenyl hydrazine to form Osazon of the characteristic shape. This is what the principle is. It is the same what we have discussed. Here the thing to be remembered is that the first 2 carbon of the sugar, right, first and second carbon of the sugar, they are involved in this reaction, and the sugar that differ in this 2 configuration of this 2 carbon gives the same type of Osazon. That is why the difference is masked by binding with the phenyl hydrazine. And that is the reason why glucose, fructose and mannose will give you the similar type of needle shaped crystals, or we can say broom shaped crystals. For maltose it will give you sunflower or hedgehog shaped crystals. For lactose it will give cotton ball or powder puff shaped crystals. So that is all about the general reactions of